From the studios of KENW on the campus of Eastern New Mexico University, it's You Should Know, featuring the people and events of Eastern New Mexico and West Texas.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Evelyn Ledbetter, your host, and my special guest today is Anisha Sapkota, and she is from Nepal. She's a student at Eastern New Mexico University. She is earning her master's degree and actually working, this is her final semester, and will be doing her dissertation later this month. And so, Anisha, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me here.
So how far from Nepal to Eastern New Mexico University?
It's like the opposite side of the world, and we have to take more than 24 hours of flight to get to the US.
Okay.
So it's a long flight.
A long trip. Long trip. Well, tell me a little bit about your background. You are a native of Nepal, grew up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm from southern Nepal, which is a subtropical area in Nepal. And yeah, we have a lot of insects there. We have a lot of butterflies there. That is what got me interested in butterflies.
Okay. All right. And your family? How many generations do you even know? Just always from that country? And...
Yeah, we have always lived there.
Okay.
And I have been there for my whole life until I moved to the US back 2 years back.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I miss Nepal.
You miss home. The United States is not where you plan to stay. You want to go back home.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And Nepal is very diverse. Like you said, you've got the tropical part of it in the south, and then all the way up into literally Mount Everest.
Yeah.
At the top of the country.
Yeah, Nepal is very diverse. It has a lot of diversity. The climatic condition favors the diversity. You know, we have the climate from tropical areas to very alpine, very cold areas in Nepal. So that holds all the diversity of Nepal.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you had told me that the majority of Nepal is actually agriculture.
Yeah.
Is the ways people survive, is mm-hmm. growing their own foods and things like that.
Yeah, 60% of Nepali people are involved in agriculture, and that's the lifestyle, which I think is very great.
It is. Everybody works and takes care of themselves, and,
mm-hmm.
and that's how the United States began. And I think we've gotten a long ways away from some of the good parts of that life.
Mm-hmm.
But so tell me this. Family, your mom and dad, brothers, sisters in your family?
Yeah, my parents are in Nepal, and I have a big brother and a small brother. Both of them are in Australia now. They are studying there, and I'm in the US, so we are a little bit apart right now.
A little bit.
Yeah, and we plan to get back together soon.
Okay, and you said you did your undergrad in Nepal.
Yeah, I studied agriculture. I graduated with agriculture degree from a university in Nepal before I came to the US.
Okay, and this is something, before we get into your work and study on the migration on the butterflies, is a little bit, how did you come to know where you even wanted to go to work on your master's, on your graduate work? How did you decide to leave Nepal to do that?
Okay, so I'm going to talk from beginning.
Okay,
so,
yeah, definitely.
I have been always a very ambitious person, and I wanted to get into the field of medicine. And in Nepal, we can actually enroll in one medical college right after our high school.
Oh,
so
okay.
I gave my 100% to get into medical college, but I couldn't get there. So I was kind of depressed and sad for some time, and
sure.
I felt like I had lost a purpose. And slowly I began to divert my mind towards different things, and I joined this agriculture college, which is in my hometown. And in third semester, we had a course called entomology, which means the study of insects, where we study the insects. And that got me hooked into the world of insects. And I used to think that I knew a lot about the world. Stupid me. But when I came to know about the existence of insect and what they do and what are their life cycle, so I knew very little about them and I wanted to explore a lot about them. So yeah, and studying insect has always been very interesting because there is always something that I don't know. And there is always something that still needs to be explored. So yeah, that is what got me into insects. And during the pandemic time when we all were in our home, so during that time I used to go to the forest nearby my house, and we have a lot of butterflies in our area, and I used to photograph them and I used to identify them, and that is what got me into butterflies.
That interest started there where you had the downtime and was able to. Did you attend school during the pandemic, or it was shut down?
It was shut down, but we continued after that pandemic. And yeah, I started writing research paper because there were a lot of things to be known about butterflies of Nepal. And I published some paper which kind of gave me some background for my master's degree. And immediately after my graduation, I came to the US to study butterflies.
Tell me about the process of getting into a university here.
Okay, firstly, you have to approach a professor, and after they are sure that you can do well and you can do well in the master's field, then they will accept your application. After the college accepts your application and sends you an I-20, it is a form, and we apply for a student visa from Nepal, and we have to take an interview, which is very stressful for most of the students. It is like a 1 or 2 minutes interview, and that will decide whether we can come to the US or not.
60 seconds or 120 seconds determines the rest of your life.
Yeah. It's a very tricky interview because we have to present our whole life in just 1 or 2 minutes. And many people think it is a work of luck, but I think if you practice enough, then you can get the visa. So, and after getting the visa, we can come to the US and study.
Okay. All right. And so I believe if you're on a student visa, you can stay here for up to 5 years.
Yeah, the initial visa that we are offered is for 5 years, but there has to be someone to sponsor the visa always. Like for an example, I'm going to graduate after a month, and I will have to have a sponsor to sponsor my visa immediately after my graduation.
So
otherwise,
that you can continue to stay.
Yeah, otherwise I have to return back.
And you're wanting to go on and work on your doctorate degree.
Yeah.
Once you present your dissertation later this month.
Yeah, I'm planning to apply to the doctorate program as soon as possible. And I really want to be able to join some field where I can study butterflies for my doctorate degree as well.
Okay. And you actually, you have someone special in your life here in the United States, right?
Yeah.
Your husband?
Yeah, we came together to the US, and we both love butterflies. We both love traveling, and we both are in the same field, and we both are in the same stages of our life. And that kind of helped us to move forward and be there for each other.
You have that support system with someone that it understands exactly what you're going through culturally,
yeah,
and different foods and different
everything.
Everything is different. That's really fun. Well, that's an interesting thing, and thank you for explaining that. I never knew how someone from another country got here and went through the process to get into school. And so you're here part of our biology. Your degree is actually biology, correct?
Yeah, I'm doing master's in biology, and I'm specializing in the study of butterflies for my master's thesis. And
I'm going to let you say, I know I butcher this word, what the study of butterflies is.
Yeah, the study of butterflies and moths in general is called Lepidoptera.
Okay. See, I'm not going to try to say that. We'll let the experts say that. So literally your biology degree, but then you emphasize in this one area, or that's what your thesis is on?
Yeah, I emphasize in this area.
Okay.
So that emphasis got me do this thesis.
Okay.
On
and tell me what your actual thesis, just a summary of what it is.
Okay, my thesis is studying the butterfly diversity in Eastern New Mexico. Eastern New Mexico is, it is not that great scenic wise.
Right.
So a lot of people ignore the diversity here. So I wanted to be able to get some data for butterflies of eastern part of New Mexico. So that's my thesis on.
Okay. So just basically what's here and how they got here, or the migration period, that sort of thing. Well, let's dig into that a little bit. So you've told us that literally the love of the butterflies came from being in the forest and documenting and researching and photographing the butterflies. And so tell me about the life cycle of a butterfly. I know we learned this back in grade school science, but if people are like me, they've probably forgotten quite a bit of this. So walk us through that.
Butterflies have a very interesting life cycle. Butterflies start their life as an egg, and the egg hatches in 1 or 2 days, and a caterpillar comes out. And the caterpillar, the only work of caterpillar is to eat, and eat. It is very hungry, and it gets bigger and bigger in its size. And as it gets bigger, it sheds off its skin, and it gets bigger. And at a point when it thinks that the feeding has to stop, so it converts itself into a chrysalis, which commonly is called pupa.
Okay.
So
the whole purpose of that eating is for the metamorphosis that it's about to go through.
Yeah.
That's going to be the calories and things that make that happen. Okay.
Yeah, and the chrysalis will hatch into a butterfly later on after 10 or 15 days. It really depends upon the temperature, surrounding temperature, and we get the adult butterflies.
And so that emerges and so the butterfly just, I assume it comes out of that. It's basically kind of like a little cocoon is what that chrysalis is.
Yeah.
And so it just fights its way out, and I would assume it comes out kind of limp and its wings and everything are wet and sticky. I don't know.
Yeah, the butterflies, when they come out of the chrysalis, it has very shrunken wing, and it has a lot of thing in its abdomen, and it pumps that thing into the wing so that the wing can spread and become this big. So these wings will become big after like 10 or 15 minutes after the hatching of the chrysalis. And and the adult butterflies can fly after that.
Just right away.
Yeah.
Have you watched one come out? So you've actually seen that. Have you videoed it or just watched it? Or I'm sure there's videos you can watch, but.
Yeah, I tried to capture it under video, but it is a very long process, and the butterflies kind of move from one place to another place. So it is a little bit difficult to capture it on camera.
Sure, sure. But to see that as it happens, it's just, I just can't imagine, because it literally, molecularly, it just completely changes totally. So what an amazing thing. So no wonder, and they're beautiful.
Yeah, they are beautiful.
So everybody always, you see butterfly places, and I know Albuquerque has one that you can go in and different things. So how many species do you know in the world that have been documented at this point?
Butterflies, there are 19,000 species of butterflies in the world, and US has around 800 butterflies.
That's it.
And Nepal, being half of the size of New Mexico, has 700 butterflies. So you can see the difference in diversity.
Right. Right. And the diversity completely is dependent upon
The climatic condition, the geographical condition, which determines the host plant availability or the plant diversity.
Right.
So that determines how many butterflies and what kind of butterflies we find in a place.
So, of course, where we're very arid on the eastern side of New Mexico compared to a tropical area of Nepal, do you know where has the most butterflies? What country?
Yeah. So most of the butterflies are concentrated in the equatorial region, which we call the tropical region.
Okay.
So there are a lot of butterflies, and equator must be the one holding the butterfly, the most, the place with most butterflies.
Okay.
And yes, a lot of people, a lot of researchers like to do the research on butterflies of those areas because there is a lot of butterflies there. And yeah, I'm also planning to go there someday to see the butterflies there and to see their diversity and to research on them.
Okay. So tell me what you have done since you've been in New Mexico. What area are you looking at to find butterflies in our area?
So yeah, I have been to several places in New Mexico, and I really think that those mountains in the central region and the southern region are very good habitat for butterflies. The eastern region is not very good and is neglected. So I started studying or exploring the butterflies of eastern New Mexico. So for my thesis, simplifying it, I am studying the butterflies of 4 counties: the Roosevelt County, the Curry County, the Quay County on the north, and the Eddy County on the south.
Okay, so Eddy, Quay, Roosevelt, and Curry was your area. So you have brought some samples with you.
Yeah.
And this is things that you have found that have been found within that 4-county area.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
can you kind of walk us through what you have here?
Yes. So this is a swallowtail butterfly, and this is a female, and that's a male. Male has to be prettier in insect world because it has to lure female to.
The guy has to be the pretty one.
Yeah.
And they are beautiful.
Yeah, and female are usually larger in size. So let's go here.
Okay.
So these are skippers group, and this little guy here is actually a grasshopper. It's not a butterfly.
So why did you bring him?
So,
are you giving me a test to see if I know the difference?
So, while I was searching for these 2 butterflies, I would always get confused with this grasshopper. So there are not a lot of these butterflies found in that habitat. So grasshopper gave me a hard time to.
So that's like your nemesis almost, like that's the enemy because he always confused you.
Yeah. So I really wanted to show the similarity that we have in between grasshopper and the butterfly that we find in the same habitat, and how they try to fool us. Even though we human think that we are the smartest,
they're not so smart.
Yeah.
And you said they're skippers, right?
Yeah, they are skippers.
Okay.
And those butterflies over there, its name is queen butterfly.
Okay, they're beautiful.
And the next one right there is the monarch.
Okay. And this is the one that a lot of probably people are the most familiar with.
So it is the brand ambassador of whole insect world. So it is something that most of the people can relate, and we can communicate the common citizen about how insects are doing through the explanation of the monarchs.
And then you said this one actually has something special, right?
Yeah. So the last one.
This little guy right here?
Yeah. That's the state butterfly of New Mexico.
Okay.
And it is called Sandia hairy streak. It is a green butterfly, but the scales during the spreading has worn out. So it kind of look black.
a little ragged looking.
Yeah.
Well, he's not 21 anymore, so okay.
So yeah, so most of the people may think that spreading butterflies or pinning butterflies are bad, but it is really important in the field of our study because it will help us know how the diversity has changed over time. For an example, this is this one. This butterfly was caught in 1986 by someone in Portales. So it hadn't been recorded until now, and I found it in drawer of Natural History Museum in Eastern New Mexico, and I'm going to report it as a new record for New Mexico.
Very nice. Very nice.
And that's very interesting outcome of my research as well.
Well, and you and your husband have literally spent a lot of time. We have beautiful plants and things here on the university, and you've looked, you found a lot of your specimens here.
Yeah. The first thing that my professor told me while I pitched him the idea that I wanted to study the butterflies of Eastern New Mexico was that he was saying, you won't be able to find like 30 species of butterflies in around here. So I was able to find 70 species of butterfly all in the on campus.
Okay, so there's a lot right here that we overlook. We walk by it every single day and don't pay attention.
Yeah.
And I know you said there was they like milk plants, and what else was it that they feed on? Is it it's sap of tree sap? Is that right?
Okay, butterflies feed on different things depending on which stages of life they are in. For an example, the caterpillar will eat on the plant leaves, and some of the caterpillars can also eat other insects, which I find very interesting, which I came to know about just a few days ago. And this is why insects interest me a lot, because there is always a lot of things to explore about. So caterpillars can mostly eat the plant leaves, and sometimes they can also feed on other insects or the liquid that other insects ejaculate. Similarly, the adult butterflies mostly feed on the nectars of plant.
Okay.
And they can also sip the liquid that is nearby the streams or rivers, which are full of minerals. So yeah, that's how they get the energy.
And it in the cycle, basically butterflies pollinate, and then they also are a food source. Is that right? If I remember what you had told me.
Yeah, butterflies are very important for our ecosystem because they are a part of ecosystem. But the main work of butterfly is that they provide a food source for many vertebrates and invertebrates animals such as birds, reptiles, etc. They feed up on the caterpillar or the adult. So that's how the life cycle or the ecosystem goes on. The next thing that butterflies do is they pollinate. They have to, even though it is said that butterflies cannot pollinate as much pollen as the bee do, they can surely transfer the pollen to greater distance, which benefit the flowers or the diversity.
Because the bees are going back and forth to the hive, but the butterflies have more flying distance. And
yeah.
We don't have a ton of time, but the migration.
Okay.
just quickly on that. The migration pattern in the U.S. is from.
Okay, there are not a lot of butterflies that do migrate. One of the most interesting migration patterns that we see are of monarchs. So monarchs migrate all the way from Canada and or the US to central Mexico to hibernate there so that they can remain warm during the cold winter.
Okay.
And they migrate back to North America to repopulate the areas during the summer.
Okay. All right. And tell me, hopefully you're looking at a university in Florida to hopefully get into.
Yeah, I am trying to get into that because it is one of the best university to pursue study of butterflies for doctorate. So yeah, I'm planning to be
Well,
there.
good. And then eventually get back home.
Yeah.
So, Anisha, I mean, I've learned so much on this, and I've studied and read and brought back like lots of childhood memories of butterflies and a new appreciation for them. So, wish you the best of luck on your defense of your thesis,
Thank
and
you.
then moving on. And I know you'll do great things. So, you're a pleasure. Welcome to the U.S. and New Mexico. I'm so glad you went to school here.
Thank you for this opportunity.
For sure. And for all of you out there watching, we appreciate you joining us, and we will see you next time. Cheers.